Hey, it's E3! E3!
It's the best day of the year!
Electronics Entertainment
Expose.
Yes.
3E.
It's 2014.
Half-Life 3.
Is it E cubed or is it?
It's
E cubed.
No,
It
it's
is
E.
E
It's
cubed.
E3 prime.
It's not 3 E's. It's E cubed.
But
They're
the
multiple.
E to the third power.
Alright, stop being funny.
Yo, we have Frank here, our favorite Asian. He's been on here a couple times, just not facial form.
Secret Asian man.
Hi online.
Yeah. So E3's not officially over. It actually just started, but basically the 4 big conferences went today. Nintendo will be tomorrow. We'll have a video on Nintendo. So yeah, we have a lot to say, a lot to talk about. A lot of shit happened. So Microsoft started the day, and I'm just going to run down the list of what got announced, and we're going to run down just highlighting our thoughts on things that stood out. So, Microsoft started the show with a demo of Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and once again said, Xbox gets exclusive DLC first.
Yeah, that's about
Then they talked about how Forza 5 got a new track for free.
The
Nuremberg.
Which I don't know why it wasn't in the game in the first place, but whatever. And then they also showed off a trailer for Forza Horizon 2, which comes to the Xbox One and the 360 September 30th. Then they talked about Evolve. Evolve is getting an exclusive beta and DLC first on Xbox. Then they showed off 4-player co-op of Assassin's Creed Unity. Then they showed a trailer of Dragon Age Inquisition and said DLC first on Xbox. It's kind of a theme. Then they showed off a very awesome game, and that is Sunset Overdrive. And they showed off a trailer and a demo. That game's coming exclusively to the Xbox One, October 28th. Then they showed off Dead Rising 3 DLC that has an extremely huge name. I think it's Capcom poking fun at themselves with the Street Fighter thing.
The ultimate
How they
Street
keep going
Fighter.
with that. It's a really long name, and that's actually available right now. So if you own an Xbox One, you have Dead Rising 3.
Go get it.
You can get it. Looks pretty interesting. Then they talked about Fantasia something
The dance game.
and Dance Central. Dance Central is an Xbox exclusive. Fantasia comes out October 21st. They're made by Harmonix, people that made Rock Band. Then they showed off Fable Legends and said there's a beta this fall. Project Spark has some Conquer stuff going on. Conquer, the fucking squirrel. Then they showed off a game called Ori and the Blind Forest. Then they got to something really awesome. That is Halo the Master Chief Collection. That comes out November 11th, and it includes Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, and Halo 4. It also has every single Halo map, multiplayer map, and Halo 2 multiplayer intact, and you can play that online. It also comes with Halo Nightfall, which is like a movie thing, right?
Yeah,
Something
It's like
that.
a TV thing.
Yeah, and it also comes with access to Halo 5 Guardians, which that beta is launching, I think, this fall or early 2015 or something. Then they showed off the thing about indies, and showed off the game Inside made by the dudes that made Limbo. I know a lot of people were excited about that. Then they showed off Rise of the Tomb Raider, which is the sequel to Tomb Raider, that came out last year. That's coming out, said in the trailer, holiday 2015. Then they showed off a Witcher 3 Wild Hunt demo, and then they showed off Phantom Dust, Tom Clancy's The Division, Scalebound, which is an Xbox One exclusive made by Platinum Games, and then they ended the show with showing off the new Crackdown game. I guess Crackdown 3, Crackdown, whatever. So that's everything Microsoft talked about. It was games the entire time. What stood out to you guys?
Do you have anything of noteworthy to add?
I saw a little bit of the Call of Duty trailer, and it honestly looks like Call of Duty. I mean, it was like, you know, some door flying off and the guys are inside, and I was like, you know, whatever. It's Call of Duty. I stopped caring a while ago. Then I just watched the Assassin's Creed thing, because I didn't watch Microsoft, so that's why I'm only talking about 2 games. But Assassin's Creed looks pretty great. They didn't show anything about Comment, which kind of is just Unity. Would have been cool to see a little bit of Comment, but it seems like that's like the little brother that they just don't really care about too much. It looked awesome, and there's like the reaction of the non-player characters. If you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. Just the actual reaction of non-player characters, like going through and like it was pretty cool. That looked like something that was really new and pretty interesting. And then the building design and just showing off everything, like running outside the building, inside the building, that looked great.
I can't honestly say that there's anything exclusive to Xbox that really stood out to me. Some of the cool stuff, though, I saw came mostly in the indie department, and that Project Spark is, well, for me being a developer myself, it's kind of interesting to work with. It's basically for people who are too lazy to actually be developers.
For me, there was a couple things. I thought, surprisingly, the new Call of Duty looked really good. Like, graphically, it looked really good. There wasn't too much brand new in terms of stuff, but the new Call of Duty looked really good. You know, Evolve was cool. I think it looked like they were showing off a new monster, which just makes me even more excited for that. You know, like Sam said, the co-op for Assassin's Creed Unity was cool, because I was wondering and kind of concerned on how they put that in, and what they would actually do with a next-gen only Assassin's Creed, and they really showed what they can do and what this co-op means. The other thing was Sunset Overdrive was awesome. I didn't think, seeing actual gameplay from that game, it looks like it runs really smooth, and it just looks like one of those fun games that doesn't take itself seriously. So, I mean, I'm just all for that. Too bad it's only an Xbox One exclusive, because that's just my, you know, right up my alley in terms of games. And then the other thing was all the stuff with Halo. You know, the Halo 5 trailer that they showed, which sounded like that it maybe, I might be mistaken, but it sounded like it might be voiced by the Arbiter. Maybe it sounded like it. So somebody like that.
Trailer.
Somebody like that. So I was like, yeah, you know, talking about Halo Nightfall, which is cool, and just all the stuff with the Master Chief Saga, how it's all one interface. If you want to just play all the Warthog missions from all the Halo games, you can do that. If you just want to play all the space missions, that is cool. If you just want to fight the Flood, you can do that.
It's all unlocked from the start.
And also how they updated Halo 2, and so you can actually play like updated Halo 2 maps and actually like dual wield and play that. That just looked amazing. So those are what really stood out to me in terms of Microsoft's press conference.
The new Call of Duty looked okay. I think graphically it did look very impressive, but I mean, that's kind of every game at this conference anymore. You know, every game I was like, wow, that looks really pretty. I think that's going to happen with every game, but it looked okay. You know, I mean, it had the Call of Duty action, but I think the kind of the somewhat sci-fi-ish setting really could help it. And so I was kind of intrigued by it. Evolve looks awesome. I think there's a couple games that really stood out to me. Assassin's Creed Unity just looks amazing, but I'll get to that later when we talk about Ubisoft. I think Sunset Overdrive was probably one of the most impressive games there, for sure. I want that on PS4 so bad. Yeah, that game looks good. Fable Legends looks fun as a co-op game.
Being able to play as the villain.
Yeah, like it just looked interesting, and yeah. The thing that got me though, where I was just kind of like shitting my pants, was the Halo Master Chief Collection. I'm not going to elaborate. Keith said it all really, but I am a massive Halo fan, and that just made me really want to go buy an Xbox One, because I mean Halo, I love Halo, and so yeah. And then the last two things that stood out to me were there wasn't much to it, but Rise of the Tomb Raider. That trailer was awesome, and I'm very, very excited for that game. And also, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt looks like it's going to be the best RPG on these new systems yet. So, that's really what stood out to me about Microsoft. It was games, zero entertainment things, like they talked about last year, and zero mention of Xbox 360 at all. I know they want to move forward with Xbox One. That's their focus. That's their new system. But even like Sony, you still mentioned PlayStation 3 a couple times. So basically, Microsoft has kicked the 360 to the curb. Anyways, moving on. Electronic Arts was next. They started with Star Wars Battlefront. It's spring 2015 for that game. Then they showed off a Dragon Age Inquisition demo showing off combat and some of the characters in it. And then they also talked about the new Mass Effect, and BioWare is making a new IP. So BioWare has 3 probably awesome games in development right now. Then they showed off a very extensive demo of The Sims 4. Then they really got into a lot of sports games. UFC, they showed off Bruce Lee. They showed off NHL 15, EA Sports PGA Tour, Madden NFL 15, and they showed off FIFA 15. So all of the sports games, pretty much. They talked a little bit about Criterion Games' new IP. They showed off some MOBA, Dawngate, and then they showed off Mirror's Edge 2 and Battlefield Hardline, which they said there's a beta available right now. Right now you can play it and download it for the PC and the PlayStation 4 exclusively. So, what stood out about Electronic Arts, Steve?
Star Wars, like Tyler said, that I really agree with, and I kind of think the same thing about movies nowadays. When you say, oh, that looks great, it's kind of supposed to look great.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like the idea of it. Not every game has, that design where it's supposed to look great. Like, Borderlands has its own look, and The Sims has its own look. They don't look super real. But Star Wars Battlefront, that game, it looked like beyond a video game. It looks so great. I was thinking, is that a movie, or, is that some TV show where they did super professional everything with it? But I didn't see the gameplay that I wanted to see of it. It just looks cool, but I'd like to see what else. Dragon Age Inquisition, I wouldn't even given this game a thought before. I guess there's a series, Dragon Age.
Yeah.
That
This is the third game.
Yeah, I never really
Yeah.
cared or took the time to play it or know about it. But it surprised me a lot. It looks a little bit Skyrim-ish with fighting a dragon and just being kind of a medieval game.
Really quick, the story sounds like Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, where the gates are open and you have to close them. So yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, it's Skyrim-ish, but that's not a bad thing. Skyrim is pretty cool. Sims 4, I also wouldn't talk about this game, but the thing that kind of surprised me about it is I feel like an old person that doesn't really pay attention to video games, and I just read this in an article, but the virtual reality aspect of this was neat. Characters have personality and characteristics, and it may have been another game. I'm not quite sure, but I know they said it about FIFA, but I thought they said it about Sims that the characters have memories and everything like that. It's just the virtual reality aspect of that is when you take a step back and you don't look at video games as a whole. It's pretty staggering. That's a pretty cool thing how far virtual reality has gone. Sports games, I'll just lump them all together. Madden pissed me off a lot. Instead of making it look more real, the running and everything, that's pretty a basic fundamental thing of sports games is running, which you do a lot of in football, running. But no, they added new emotional reactions and tackles, even though they had this super awesome engine for tackling in the last 3 Madden games that they talked about all the time, and it's the best tackling ever. It's fuck tackling. You just use the last game, scrap it from the last game, and focus on something that's a fundamental thing of football, American football. But whatever. Madden pisses me off. Madden 25 sucked. This next one's probably gonna suck. So whatever. I don't care. PGA Tour looks like it just looks like golf. I mean, I don't care about golf, so it just looks like golf. Those games are pretty fun. Back when the notorious womanizer Tiger Woods had a line of games. But he's not on anymore, so I'm not sure if he's not on the game, but it's not named after him. It just looks like, whatever golf. Hockey, physics. That's all I have to say about hockey is physics.
Details.
FIFA looked kind of interesting, because one thing I liked a lot about NBA 2K games, not live, is that the crowd was pretty cool, and the emotion of the crowd. It seemed like a cool thing. I've never played FIFA games since like FIFA 2001 or something, but it looked kind of neat. Like I want to try, but overall nothing like any grand spectacle of anything. They looked kind of up to date, but they still didn't look natural. Any of the sports games, they didn't look quite natural, if you know what I mean. Mirror's Edge 2 looked pretty cool. It interested me. Battlefield Hardline, that made my penis Battlefield hard. It looked awesome, intense. Is it a bit refreshing to see that? Where Call of Duty, it's like the thing that rivals Call of Duty. Call of Duty is like war. Not just war, but like special operations, special operations, SAS, Army Rangers, the Cleveland Browns, whatever. And then this is like cops and criminals. It's kind of new, refreshing, but it impressed me a lot. It's just the intensity of everything.
Alright. EA, summed up, disappointed me for the most part. Other than Dragon Age, I didn't really see gameplay that I really liked. Like, sure, Battlefield, but you could just basically mod a Battlefield 4 game on PC and get the same result. And quite honestly, that doesn't really impress me.
About FIFA, aren't you a FIFA fan?
I was going to get into that, but now that you mention it, as an avid FIFA fan, I've played FIFA like ever since I could hold a controller, and it's come a long way. And I feel like FIFA 15 finally, like, being designed for the next generation, it's just gonna blow the previous FIFA out of the water in terms of just all the detail of the field, the stadiums, and just the players themselves. You can recognize a player just seeing them. Like, how it cuts off, like when the ball goes out of play, you can see the player's face. You don't need to know their jersey or anything. You can just see who it is. And if you're as much of a football fan as I am, sorry Americans, I call it by its proper name. You really to appreciate that you can recognize people. Another thing that caught my eye was the fantasy courses on the PGA game, and there was something. I always thought of golf as merely just a game of math, but now that you're going to throw in fantasy courses, it's going to be more like a tour of everything EA has done. So, it might interest me enough to actually buy a golf game, because I didn't see a point before this.
To kind of sum everything up really, really quickly, I'm excited for Battlefront, wish they would have showed more. I'm excited for Mass Effect and BioWare's other new IP, wish they would have showed more. Dragon Age, I actually am impressed with what they showed. They actually did show that off a lot, so I'm actually proud of that. Most of the sports games, NHL, I don't really care. UFC, there's Bruce Lee, but besides that, it's a game that's already been out, and again, not that interested. I'm in the same boat as Frank with the PGA thing. I want to play golf on a Battlefield map. Why not? Madden, I don't care. FIFA, it looks cool, but don't care. Was it Dawngate? It's a MOBA, so maybe I'll try it out because I like Smite. And then what was there was Battlefield,
Hardline.
and then there was Battlefield, which
Wait,
I mean-
Mirror's Edge.
yeah, Mirror's Edge. I actually am pretty excited for Mirror's Edge. Mirror's Edge 2 just looks awesome. The first Mirror's Edge was really good, so I just want to try out this one. And I was not. I mean, I'm slightly more impressed than I was with Battlefield Hardline, but not to the point where I'm going to get the game. It's, I don't know, I might try out the beta. Just all in all, EA, I feel like they spent too much time on the behind the scenes stuff with this. And I feel like they could have showed off so much more, but they showed off a lot of behind the scenes stuff, and it just brought the whole thing down.
I don't really have too much to say. I mean, I want to actually see Battlefront in action. Yeah, I'm really excited for it, but I want to see gameplay of it. I'm excited for everything BioWare is doing. Really excited for the new Dragon Age and Mass Effect. And the sports games, I mean, they're not all really my thing. Yeah, Madden just doesn't look interesting to me. And, I mean, just not really my thing. But yeah, I kind of agree with you. Too much behind the scenes stuff where they could have actually maybe showed actual gameplay of it. Maybe that would have been more impressive. Mirror's Edge 2 looks interesting, to say the least. Definitely a unique game. And Battlefield Hardline, still not that impressed with it, honestly, in my opinion. But I will try out the beta on PS4. So yeah, anyways. To Ubisoft. Ubisoft didn't talk about much. They showed off the first 5 minutes of Far Cry 4. They showed off Just Dance 2015. They showed off Assassin's Creed Unity, some more of it. That game comes out October 28th. They showed off The Crew, which comes out November 11th. Then they showed up this fitness game called Shape Up, which is coming only to the Xbox One. And then they debuted Rainbow Six Siege. So, thoughts?
I didn't watch it.
No, okay. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Works.
Well, now that you've defaulted to me, I have yet to think of something. But
I mean-
I will say, I was very impressed with Far Cry.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna fall in love with the what I suppose he's gonna be a villain at the beginning there. But you know, he saved you. You didn't die at the beginning. You should be grateful for that. Another thing,
He got blood on his fucking shoes.
yeah, man, I'd be pissed about that too. Come on. If I was gonna kill someone, I wouldn't want to get dirty doing
Seriously, watch that trailer.
it. Yes.
It's great.
Assassin's Creed, I play Assassin's Creed on and off. It's not, I don't buy every game, but this one looks pretty fun. And the only drawback is that it's in France, and sorry France, but I really don't care about your revolution. Rainbow Six, I've played Rainbow Six Vegas 2, but this looks like it's just so much better, and I'm at a loss for words. That was pre-alpha stuff they were
Yeah.
showing us.
That's
Graphically, it didn't look that good.
But the
But
gameplay,
It
like
was solid.
if that's what multiplayer is about,
yeah.
I will get back into
And
playing
that's
first
just a
person
small
shooters.
slice of it, too. You know, there
Yeah.
could be so much more to that.
Just one game mode, and you know, it's what we wanted to see.
Alright, for me, again, it's kind of the same three games that I really saw, which was Far Cry 4, which, at least comparatively to later on in the night, the first 5 minutes were cool, and they were entertaining and awesome and fun to watch, but they weren't like it wasn't a game seller to me in a way, you know, just the first 5 minutes. I don't know, that's just me personally. But then again, I haven't played a Far Cry game since like the original one, so it's been a long time.
It's been a while.
Assassin's Creed Unity looked fun. I mean, they showed off more of the updated engine with like larger crowds and stuff like that. I won't go too much about it. But Rainbow Six Siege looked awesome. You know, this is basically Rainbow Six Patriots, but brought back up and looked pretty. And I think the thing that made this game really cool was the fact that you can kind of plan out how you're going to go about your missions, and then also the fact that you can shoot a hole in the wall and then use that hole in the wall to shoot through the wall. Like, you can look through that hole and shoot people on the other side. Like, that's just cool. And like you said, it's pre-alpha, so this is going to be big stuff. This game is going to be big, I can tell. So this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, same 3 games for me. I am so fucking excited for Far Cry 4. If you haven't played Far Cry 3, you should do yourself a favor and play it, honestly. But Far Cry 4 is behind Destiny. It is my second most anticipated game of 2014. Oh my god. That game's so good looking. Assassin's Creed Unity is going to be good. And I have a feeling that it's going to be great. And that makes me excited. I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan. And finally, Ubisoft always has that one big game that they just, blow fucking dicks off with. In 2012 it was Watch Dogs, last year was The Division, this year it was Rainbow Six Siege, and that game looks fun as shit. And I played both Rainbow Six Vegas and Vegas 2, and they were like, some of the most fond memories I had, early in the Xbox 360's life cycle, and I'm so excited for a new Rainbow Six. It's time for a new Rainbow Six, I feel, too.
Definitely.
So, that game's going to be awesome. Now, finally moving on to Sony, which, my god, is there a lot to fucking talk about. First of all, fuck all this fucking apps. Maybe it was my internet or something, but, we tried Keith's internet, too. It was kept fucking out on us, but we were able to see it, most of it, just with annoyances. So they started off, new Destiny trailer. Destiny is coming to beta July 17th, and it's coming with when it releases September 9th, it's coming with a white PlayStation 4 bundle. So you can get Destiny, a white PlayStation 4,
and a white controller.
Yeah, and that just looks so sexy. Also, day one, you're going to get a bunch of exclusive missions and content exclusively on the PS4 for Destiny. Then they showed off a really awesome gameplay trailer for the Order 1886. They showed off another game called Entwined, which is out right fucking now. You can pick it up. Then they showed off a trailer for the new Infamous Second Son, DLC expansion called Infamous First Light. Very stoked for that, coming out August. Then they showed off what I found to be a surprise, Little Big Planet 3, coming out this November. Then they showed off Bloodhorn by the guys that make Dark Souls and Demon Souls. I think that's coming exclusively to the PS4 in 2015. Then they showed off an extremely badass demo of Far Cry 4. And only on PlayStation can you have your friends join your game, even if they don't have the game. Badass. Then they showed off a funny trailer for Dead Island 2. Then they said, in Diablo 3 Ultimate and Evil Edition on PS4, you'll be fighting, clickers and stuff like that from The Last of Us. That's interesting. Showed off some Battlefield Hardline. Then Disney Infinity gets exclusive DLC shit for PS4. I'm not even through half of this shit. Magicka 2, whatever that is. Then they showed off a bunch of indie games. But some of them looked interesting. Then they showed off an exclusive called Let It Die, made by Pseudo51. Then they showed off Abzu, made by the dude that made Journey. So I'm sure that'll be a very big game. Then they showed off a very interesting title, No Man's Sky. And that has a lot of people excited, especially Sam. Then they talked a little bit about Project Morpheus. If you're there, you can play around with it. They showed off a bunch of free-to-play games. PlanetSide 2, Kingdom Under Fire 2. There's a lot of free-to-play games coming to the Vita and the PS4. PlayStation Now goes into open beta July 31st. Then they basically talked a lot about Vita and how PlayStation Now helps the Vita, and they talked about a couple games. Tales from the Borderlands is coming to the Vita. Not a whole lot about Vita, honestly. Talked about PlayStation TV. This used to be PlayStation Vita TV, only for the Vita. Now it's for PS4, all kinds of stuff. that looked interesting. It's coming out later this year to North America. It costs $99 by itself, or you can get a bundle with a bunch of shit for $140. Showed off Mortal Kombat X. Then he talked about some really random shit that I thought was out of place. Powers, a TV show from Marvel?
It's like Marvel comic.
Yeah. So, yeah. And they talked about Ratchet and Clank movie, and also the original Ratchet and Clank is getting remastered, both of them coming out early 2015. The Last of Us Remastered comes out July 29th. They showed off a very long and intense trailer for Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. I'm almost done. Grand Theft Auto 5 is coming to the PlayStation 4. They showed off the most badass thing for Batman Arkham Knight, showing off the Batmobile, showing off how fucking amazing that game is going to be. And finally, they ended with a short but sweet trailer for the final Uncharted game, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, and they said it's coming out in 2015.
Whew. Jesus Christ.
So, Sam,
That's like 2 hours. Of stuff.
quickly.
I'm probably not going to play Destiny, but it looked kind of neat to begin with, but it doesn't excite me too much. Entwine looked pretty cool. I didn't see too much of it because it was kind of skipping around there, but what I did see of it, it looked very interesting, a game I might like. The old 1886, that looked pretty cool. Kind of Resident Evil-ish, but pretty cool. Far Cry 4, you can glide actually across, and they did this perfectly. You glided like so far around, like to show the map like area that you play in, the scenery and stuff. That looked pretty cool. There's an elephant. Dead Island 2. I hope it's more interesting than Riptide and the first one, because you play them and they get kind of dull after a while. I hope this one retains its fun throughout the game. Abzu, it looks amazing. Yeah, some of the creators of Journey and that whole series of games like Journey, it's probably the thing I'm second most excited for. Just because it looks great. It's an underwater thing. It just looks great. No Man's Sky, probably the best game I've seen for this generation of consoles since it was announced, since any game for this console was announced. You got to see some dinosaurs, other animals. Once again, they showed you just walking around, and you go straight up out into space, and so far out into space and into another planet without fast traveling, without a loading screen into the next planet or anything. It looks awesome. Arkham Knight looks pretty cool. They showed a lot of the big city, or part of it, I guess. That looks pretty cool. The lights and everything has this big city feeling, so that game should hopefully be pretty cool. And Uncharted, like the couple of seconds I saw of it, because once again the stream was a bit off. It looked. I don't know, I can't really say how it looked. I'm excited for it, I guess, but I didn't really see it set. I can't really say how it looked because you could see. Franklin?
You go.
Oh, hey.
The turtle?
Well, Destiny is a given. It's going to be great. The nice thing they announced was the bundle with the white PS4 and the white controller.
Should have waited.
Nah, it's all good. But the order, I don't know. It was really skipping out on us when we looked at the order. I've been looking into it as it came to E3, and it's pretty interesting. Little Big Planet was a surprise for me. I enjoyed the first couple games. Bloodborne looked pretty brutal. Far Cry 4, very entertaining trailer. I think they did a really good demo of it. Good showing off, Let's see, is there... I have a soft spot in my heart for indie games. I don't know, it's just something that I enjoy playing. I'll probably play some No Man's Sky. And then the free-to-play games, and then PlayStation Now beta, really increasing the value of your PlayStation 4. I'm kind of uncomfortably horny about the Ratchet and Clank movie.
Nice way of saying.
I mean, I try to be as blunt and honest as I can. And, what can I say? Uncharted 4. It's sad to see the story end, but, you know, you don't want it to drag on and be miserable like other games I know.
What?
That
What? I didn't say nothing.
Oh, Keith, talk before I get off.
Call of Duty.
Talk before I get awkward. Talk before I get awkward.
Okay. Alright, so, again, I'll kind of blaze through. Destiny's Destiny. Blaze, definitely. The Order 1886, you get to hunt werewolves, so that's right up my alley for cool stuff. The next thing that I saw was really cool was Far Cry 4. That was probably the best gameplay demo that I had seen all night, and also the most entertaining. It was just awesome to watch how that game plays, especially with the wingsuit and player joining into your game, which kind of came out of nowhere, which was awesome. I'm interested in the Last of Us characters in Diablo 3 because, you know, I want to get the Diablo 3 when it comes to the PS4, so that's going to be great. Next big thing is, of course, like Frank said, the free-to-play stuff for the PS Now Open Beta, and the PlayStation TV are honestly 3 really cool things that I'm interested in. Since I usually play my PS4 in like either one of 2 rooms in my house, it'd be nice to have the PlayStation TV because then I don't have to move my console to the other side of the house. I could just kind of set up shop here and go play somewhere else, which would be really awesome. The Mortal Kombat X gameplay looked awesome. I mean, it looked just like the trailer, even though they said that wasn't gameplay, but it looks badass. Again, like they said, Ratchet and Clank Remastered in the movie is awesome. I'll definitely pick up The Last of Us Remastered. Metal Gear Solid 5 gives me feels, much feels, since I played 4. And one of the earlier ones, I'm having trouble remembering which one right now. GTA 5, I mean, hell, I'll pick it up again. As long as I get my multiplayer stuff back, because I want to give that another shot. Arkham Knight, definitely the game I'm most looking forward to for next year. And Uncharted 4, I have yet to dive deep into the Uncharted series, but I mean, I'll get it. Why not? I'll play Uncharted 4. It looks interesting. It looks fun. So, yeah.
It's me. I have a huge erection for Destiny. The Order 1886 looked creepy as shit, and I'm excited for that game. Little Big Planet 3 looked kind of fun, kind of cute, and, you know, sexy. Bloodthorn seemed kind of like a fucked up thing, but interesting. Honestly, Far Cry 4 kind of stole the whole thing for me. That game is going to be amazing. Let's see. Abzu seems very cool. Seems like it's just a game that you just kind of sink yourself into. Same with No Man's Sky. I am interested in both of those games. I am interested in PlayStation Now. I wish they would have talked about pricing. I feel that would have really helped about that. But I mean, it does add a huge value to your PS4 and even your Vita if you have that. The Ratchet and Clank movie, I like Frank, am very horny about. I mean, I love Ratchet and Clank. The Last of Us Remastered, I might pick up when it's cheap. I mean, I have the PS3 version. It doesn't look too much different. But, I mean, playing it on PS4 would just be amazing. Same with GTA 5. I might pick that up down the road, but I am glad. I mean, that was like the worst kept secret that it was coming to the new systems. But I think the last 2 games that they showed off, Batman Arkham Knight, looks just so fucking good. I'm sad it got delayed, but then I'm like, it's going to be better. So yeah, that, and then Uncharted 4, I am so excited for. That game is going to be the shit. It's going to be my jam. I mean, Uncharted 2 and 3 are just fucking amazing. So I'm very, very excited for that. I want to see how Nathan Drake's story ends. And I know Naughty Dog is, you know, one of the best developers in the world. So that's going to be awesome. Anyways, last thought, really quick. Who had the best conference and what was the best game that you saw throughout all 4 of them?
Alright.
Tell me about this part.
Okay. Best conference, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna say it was Sony. Just because, especially there towards the end, there's just so much stuff. Like, even just looking at this list is daunting. Even though a lot of it's kind of smaller stuff, there's just a lot there. And probably the best thing that I saw, I'd still have to say Sunset Overdrive is probably the best thing that I saw. And, like, makes me wish I would have gotten, or it makes me almost wish I would have gotten an Xbox One. Somebody else?
Sony had a lot of stuff. I would say Sony was the best. EA was the worst. The whole conference was the worst. The game I'm most excited for?
Yeah.
Basically.
What was the coolest game you saw?
Well, I already knew that No Man's Sky was going to be great, but in terms of, raising the bar from where I was, the most improvement, or the building, the new Abzu game looked pretty cool.
Okay.
Well, all I have to say is that Sony, I was getting worried there at the end, what are they going to show? And then they just open the floodgates and my butthole is overflowing with things to think about. And my butthole...
Alright.
It is very selective in what it likes. And the thing that caught my third brown eye was probably Far Cry 4. I mean, it just looks... I'm not going to tell the world about that.
Doesn't it's a secret.
It's a secret to everyone.
Go to frankxxx.com and find out the secret.
Yeah. Shit. But yeah, Far Cry 4 just looks like it has some very interesting villain and excellent gameplay.
Yeah, I agree with Frank. Sony had the best conference. They blew the tits off of my mom. And Far Cry 4 literally stole the show with that demo to me. If you don't play that game, then just shoo. I don't want to talk to you. So, anyways, we'll have more on, maybe a couple lists on some cool shit. We'll talk about Nintendo. And, let us know what you thought of E3 if you watched it. And what you're excited for. We're fucking excited. I won't be able to sleep.
No.
Toodles.
No sleeps.
#K thanks bye.